Well, a lot of times I get recommendations on places to go. And Dawson's Geek Comics was one of the recommendations. And Cliff is Cliff Dawson of Dawson's Geek. You've got to educate me here. You know, growing up, I got Archie. You know, I was an Archie girl, and I was Mad Magazine. But I was not into any of the comics. But obviously, I missed a whole, you
missed Superman, Batman,
right.
all the biggies, the movies, the TV shows. I started with like the Ninja Turtles.
Right.
And just kind of like was hooked. And that kind of inspired like a fandom, doing artwork, trying to emulate those artists that were in those comic books that I love so much and the stories that I love so much.
I mean, obviously, I have missed out on this whole slice of life because your selection is off the
If they find that obscure book that they've been looking for, or just like, oh, hey, I didn't know that Buffy the Vampire Slayer was a comic book. Wow, I've got to put this in the collection. Just kind of like, oh, I got to see what this is about. I love seeing customers that come in and ask about an obscure book or something, and then I actually know that it's here, and just like, hey, let's go look here, and I pull it out and just see them light up of like, I've been looking for this, and that to me is the joy of doing what I do.
How do you keep track of your inventory? I mean, how would you even know? There is so much here.
It's a lot of poke and hope and try and remember, like seeing like a cool cover or a title that like, I didn't even know that was a thing. And it just kind of gets filed away in the back of the brain, and then somebody's asking about like, hey, do you have that book that you didn't know was a thing? Yes. Hold on a second, we'll go look for it. A year ago or whatever, when I actually got the gumption to, hey, let's do this.
Yeah.
I talked it over with my wife and be like, hey,
we can do this.
I've done the job that I've done for 30 years.
What field were you in?
I was in trucking.
Okay.
Upper management of trucking, dispatch, and I was like, I need a change. I need to, follow my dreams, and worked up a business plan, worked up a business model kind of thing. Because as I was in the trucking industry, I would do Comic Cons as an artist.
Okay.
And I really enjoyed and loved the interactions that I had with people at those Comic Cons, and wanted to make that my full-time gig, I guess is the way to say that.
Right, you knew what people wanted, what they were looking for, so you were able to
kind of had a finger on the pulse, I guess the way to say it.
Okay.
Of like, okay, this is neat, and I've seen other people that were succeeding in it that I had met through Comic Cons. It was just, hey, I'm going to try it. I'm going to follow my dream. I've always wanted to do this. I really like the people. I like the interactions.
And in our region, what do you think? Maybe 3 or 4 places between Western Pennsylvania and East, Northeast Ohio?
There's roughly about 4 in this general vicinity, but there's many more, as that circle grows.
Right.
So,
I mean, it's a kind of a small fraternity locally.
Locally, yeah. There's 2 shops that are right handy here in Pennsylvania. There's several over there in the Warren area.
Does every comic book have the potential to become collectible? Or are there some that are just like, Pulp Fiction? They're just putting them out to fill a void.
And that's the thing, if they overprint, it's gonna nosedive.
What do you think the average amount is that they print from new Superman coming out? What do you think it is?
That's an excellent question that I have
Thank you.
I have no clue the answer to.
Cliff, you better get on that. I want to know.
Yeah,
the public wants to know.
Yeah, I'm going to have to Google that. I do not.
Like they used to put albums out. It'd be like a 10,000 run. And then if it went platinum, of course, they'd keep making it. Yeah, but you just wonder what the initial thing is.
I don't know the initial runs. I mean, they'll do special books to where there's...
Then you'll know they're numbered and collectible and things like that.
Yeah, that they'll keep them down to a 1,000 run or 1,200 run, and then instantly that if it's a decent book, if it's a key story, that it's going to be worth more down the road. So it's one of those things. I don't know what the That's yeah.
Okay.
You got me
I asked
dumbfounded
a good question. There you go. Once a year I come up with a good one. This is really a personalized service you provide because you really know your people. Yeah. And you're like, oh my gosh, you know, Gino is going to love this horror thing because he's into the horror genre.
Yes.
And then, so you really do know. I mean, your clients, I mean, you're like a doctor. You know, prescribe the right medicine for your...
Yeah, okay, I guess
Dr. Cliff.
Yeah.
Of Dawson's Geek.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So, here's your paper medicine. That's the way this is gonna...
Thank you. May I have another?
And some of those customers...
And you can get addicted.
Yeah, you can get addicted because then it's just like, okay, I have to finish this story. And, well, I'm missing issue 2. I need to find this. And that's where I think a lot of collecting comes in.
Right.
I'm missing this one issue. I don't know how this is going to end up, or I know how it ended up, but how did we get to there? So they're looking for that issue that's going to fill in that blank.
I can't believe all the books. Room after room after room, file box after file box, A to Z, A to D. You got to see this. You'll see all these things. It's amazing. Amazing the inventory you have.
Well, and I owe a lot of that to my family and my friends that are family that helped me set up the store.
They really
in the
you
in
couldn't
the process.
have done this yourself.
Yeah, it was just we had a lot of great, wonderful people that came through and helped organize and get everything together. It's just I have a great family, I guess is the way to say that. There's a special place in heaven for my wife for letting me go on this endeavor, but that's the...
Does she like comic books?
She
better start kind of like
She does not really like comic books. This is kind of all obscure to her, but she knows it's such a big part of my life, and thankfully I married the right woman that she supports that she's like, okay, I don't understand it, but I'm going to support this. And she's my rock. She keeps me focused on the goal. So
well, that's a good woman. You better watch her. She's going to get a hobby that you're really not going to understand. And it's going to be a little tit for tat there.
Yeah.
She's going to say, Cliff, I don't know what she's going to start doing, but it might be something.
Well, she's big into CrossFit and biking, and I have no desire to do any of that. So
mountain
that's
hiking.
Her thing. Yeah. So
okay.
Yeah.
Wow. I wish I was into something like that.
Yeah.